2016, the Gambian population came out and massively voted out the repressive regime of Yahya Jammeh after 22 years in power. In the forefront of this change were youths who participated in the campaign against the dictatorship and turned out on election day. The youths, particularly those in the informal sector, were on the receiving end of the heavy-handedness of the Jammeh regime. The coalition government that ousted Yahya Jammeh was a breath of fresh air in the political life of the Gambia. The new government promised a number of reforms that would change the lives of citizens. One of the key promises of the new coalition was to set up a transitional justice process, and when the country embarked on establishing an impartial historical record of human rights violations committed by the former regime of Yahya Jammeh, the Truth, Reconciliation and Reparations Commission committed to ensuring that it is an inclusive process. Although the TRRC's outreach campaign paid particular focus on youth sensitization, the experiences of young people have not prominently featured in the TRRC's hearings. As a result, there is a risk that the experiences of young people during the dictatorship will fall through the cracks. Fantanka, a civil society organization, works with the TRRC and the Center for Victims of Human Rights Violations in supporting victims. Fantanka initiated a project which intended to highlight the plight and stories of young victims of the Jammeh regime. The project looked at the impact of the former regime on two groups of young people: the beach youths, commonly labeled as bombsters, and children of victims of the former regime. Mariama Jobate is the Chief Executive Officer.
Fantanka thought it is best to include more young people when it comes to the hearing, or to understand the experience they went through as a result of their violations, for example, or as a result of their parents' victimization. Because a lot of young people have been through violations, human rights violations, that TRC has not yet captured. If you go back to TRC hearings, you understand that, or it's evident that most of the people that appear in the hearings are adults over 35 years. Apart from the April 10th, 11th hearings, young people have been missing. So there is a high percentage of young people in the Gambia, and these young people have contributed to a lot of the proceedings when it comes to the change, and like many of the issues that happen to women, young people often get overlooked when it comes to national affairs. So this is what we want to ensure, or make sure that it does not repeat again. We want young people to be included. We want them to come on board and share their experiences, what they have been through, and be part of the solution to ensure that these kind of violations, the human rights violations, never happen again.
Fantanka started the project by conducting a media campaign, which were done in 5 local languages and published in our social media pages, to call our victims to come on board and give their statements. Also, Victim Center supported us with 101 victims whom we contacted, and then we were able to get their statements. Those that were qualified to give their statements at the TRRC were sent there to register and give their statements. And also, those that were qualified for medical attention too were sent to the TRRC. Fantanka supported them with psychosocial support. And we had a group support too, to help the victims to come on board, share their stories, and find ways to help one another and the way forward.
Like many other people in the country, for the beach youth, the transitional justice process promised an opportunity for change. These unemployed young people who petty trade peddling art and craft or offer themselves as tour guides to tourists around the tourism development area were on the receiving end of serious human rights violations as the regime tried to get rid of them on the beaches. However, their stories have been missing from the conversation so far.
The beach youths were happy when we approached them for this project, because according to them, they are not mostly included in youth activities, and when it comes to national development, they are mostly forgotten. So having approached them also made them feel happy and important, and also part of the society.
This beach youth said he was beaten up by security forces on 3 separate occasions. One of the incidents occurred when he was mistaken for a bombster and got severely beaten by soldiers.
By then I was even going to school. Me, I don't even know how the beat is. Yeah, not a brother like this correct. I go to kita bala la. Na la muslim. So dafa ngom be kilo na ngani ngara ko ni silo ka ko ka ji call follow. So the more I tell them my address I'm from Dubai, I go to go see bombs. That's how they take me. So somebody so definitely I try to escape from them. So time more man from Bilam for the first time I attend them with Nyame. He give me a big slap. Because if I want to gymnastic, Nyamo you understand? So Nyamo bending and so total for almost like 2 good weeks. Legi lenga silenga balo black phoning and fit. You told to single to more experience.
Ala alon nak ene mal lipade comme ka nyi liparol kem because most of the time ka escape e kanale keep on kim ye mol bindi nimbori ba e ka munta ko ye sunyaro le ke o e mole fa and bol coming contribute towards the development of the nation is too much mu ko continue so kumimbe o nyama mbele denda janna nga dama nyofe ka foko idebe mansa do ko wala you wanna take advantage on somebody else he or she is trying to make his living too amuka mo sunya amuka mo robot he does it as he does it wolong nkatubabul samba in a local way la nga banko tandila ya understand at the end of the day ni habita ye min dinna ni be min mako la minto ye mako then ngana fa soto janne because then mo moto fa soto na life because of tubabul wolle moto sanya and I'm able to drive to be my own boss like my self-employee dal, but I pay tax every year, to the government. So I too, I have a part to play. So kumimbe o nyama, abelaring wala nyama dal.
This man said his big bar was unlawfully demolished, completely putting him out of business. The incident left him and his family traumatized.
Nka katapila kuma ka moy aka bugul aka boy nyame ndi muso mbe Europe say wotata le nay katapila hayna ke bor billahi wallahi tallahi atata fa bota jang katapila be motoji la yelo ko la ni mboro be ko hansay fa abe Europe say aba natuba muso yaji yeah raka munda ni yet la dunia balwa muru ni kay to zero yeah.
So hansa ya kuone ni mira la kebal sino la lavanda
ke ko imagine bina hey
Another group of young people, the children of victims, have also been affected by the victimization of their parents. Although many of them are technically classified as secondary victims, the impact of their victimization has been very tangible. Many of them witnessed the arrest, tortures, disappearances, and death of their parents, resulting in disruption to their family structures.
In our advocacy project, we engaged children of the victims who were seen as secondary victims in the process. But engaging with them and having discussions with them or taking their statements, we were able to understand that they have also gone through a lot, because what happened to their parents affected them directly. Like some of them, we were able to find out that they got dropped out of school due to what happened to their parents in the former regime. So they had no one to pay for their school fees. Survival was the problem.
Kadin Jai and his brother Lamin Jai were too young to remember what happened to their father, but have felt the impact up till now.
Even uniform nkadung hard labor la pour ka ko don ni soto ji pour ka uniform wol sam fen do ko ma ko arabi school jalla ka jete e free dila pour ka time dila ka space dila janira school form e be la school fees so janim bo fon so ra ka ko le aba so tay ke bay school of school fees pour
atra fabi akata wulo ko ko de sero tan mon kam bol ni wol abende fana ndem fom kan def de man keria duma abende fana la jarlo bari sa en biri na dañ la rek ana rada fana batani ci la na rek jaaral fula ba bi ñu fana an bi ada fana man jaar kenda so ma ben defana la ko defana man kenda so e kan dem sa sal be leer defana kan mi alam ko ay batani kam boy ndi wolenti ay nakaram fam mo ko man continue ko sa sal an bi ni wala.
Another young victim, Lamin Jai, is left to fend for himself and pay for his education.
anina karona ma fauna kai nindo ko mal karundo nda fauna kan nakara munjo ansa ndam fauna kara tafta fo na nakara munjo mpama na fulman darabul amma ko la so ndara ma dinge fo lot nyaar sama ko no kai.
Talking about the implications of my father's brutal murder and the situation, it just cuts across my life, from having to hinder my education, because at the time I just finished high school and I was very hopeful to be sent abroad to study political science, and unfortunately that year 2016 was just 1 year after I graduated, and my dad was taken away. So you can imagine what that had done to my education. Actually, I had to go to exile, not even to, live in Gambia, actually grieve and probably, see my family members and get the comfort and all that. But on the contrary, we were sent to exile because the same government that failed to protect us, killed our father, is now after us. So we had to go into exile. So I did lose my opportunity to education, as well as a home, my family members, my friends, and my happiness as well, because it was quite a challenging time to have to go somewhere you do not know, and you'd have to adapt to the life there. No belongings, no family members, and no friends. It was so much, a very hard time.
These are some of the issues that need to be addressed, and that is why we came up with this project, so we can include the young people, so they can also explain their experiences that they have gone through due to the victimization of their parents. So this project is just a starting point. A lot need to be done. So I would also advise some of the organizations that will take up advocacy to include young people into their projects.
So we have also had a lot of young people who have opened up to what they have been going through psychologically as well. They have been talking about their experiences, and glad that Fantanka gave them this opportunity, because some of the issues they talked to us about, they said they have not even been comfortable to talk to their parents about it. That is mostly because we have given them a safe space to open up and get counseling as well where necessary. So therefore it's important that young people at home are given attention to. Let us ask them what they're going through, because many a time people forget that they are part of or they suffer certain things when when they're victimized or when their parents are victimized. So it's important to be asking them how they feel when issues happen at home.